And
No,
yep,
no notification.
we're live, man.
Yeah, I just got a notification on my phone too, because I'm
What's that?
subscribed.
What is
Yeah,
up?
yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah,
How, how
I
are you?
had like a terrible thing with my stomach because I ate a bad egg.
Bad
But
egg. Shit.
yeah. But it's okay. It's okay.
These things
So
happen, man.
yeah, I discovered the great magic and mystery of asking a question today. Actually, yesterday, and like I thought about it. And today, I talked to so many people. All right, I didn't meet anyone new, but I talked to so many of my current friends and stuff like that. And I, I, I figured that like asking questions is the best way to connect.
Yeah.
It's really the best way to connect, but by a long shot. Um, like providing a statement of empathy and then following up with a question on top of that, and a question that is usually open ended is like extremely good. And I also had an experiment last night on my Instagram, uh, and I just asked people like, "What's your uh, magnificent obsession?" All
Yeah.
right, and
I've
I
seen.
asked them, yeah. I think you commented too, um, and it was like it started a dialogue on the comment section, like very good engagement. And if even if you don't expect it, there is usually people are much more inclined than you think to be open about it. And also, this goes back to what we talked about last time about the girl on Tinder. You remember that
Yeah.
she was thinking that everyone is a stranger and she could not have a good romantic relationship with a stranger. So that was like her paradigm of this world.
Mm-hmm.
And but on the other hand, if you just ask questions, there's the connection is bound to happen. Like if the chemistry is like semi okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what's your experience with that because you public speak a lot, as I know. And
Yeah. So,
how do you deal with it? Like even though like at the moment when you speak publicly, you are essentially on the spotlight.
mhm.
There is still a connection that you have with your audience, right?
Definitely. So what I've seen, to be completely fair, the first time I started like doing public speaking, I was doing deliberately. I was asking questions so I can have a bit of more time, so I can like use of the whole people looking at me and noticing me and taking notes on what I was writing. So I needed like some time to get in state and in flow and all these things.
Mm.
But number one, as concerning asking questions, and that's something like I continue to do that like as a strategy, if you will. It's completely true because it really like gives the opportunity to the crowd to get be part of what you're gonna talk about. That's the one thing. But the basic thing as concerning questions, I think it's absolutely right because, as they say, it's not about the answer. It's about asking yourself better questions. Because yeah, we're like so much, into the whole. I need to. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to achieve this. I want to achieve that, which is like the answer, if you will. But in reality, isn't that more like exciting? Is that more blissful to basically just, wandering and pondering throughout this whole journey of self-development? It's no matter if it's like a business, no matter if it's a relationship, no matter if it's like on your own personal growth. What matters the most is you being in the whole journey, like the hero's journey or whatever, call it whatever it is. But And I saw that it's not about the answer. It's about asking myself new questions, better questions every day.
Mm,
As they say, you need to get lost in order to be found. To found
mm,
yourself, and that's
yeah.
so true, man. Because, for example, let's take from a business perspective.
Mm,
Yeah, like making $1 million is the answer, is the goal, is like the end place you end up with. But is that like more joyful to go through all the struggles, to rave and rant all the time yourself about what you should do right, what you should do wrong, and how you can change that? Isn't that beautiful to fail again and again, to get rejected again and again, and suddenly learn from your mistakes, use
Yeah,
like a positive interpretation, and then put them into perspective and learn from them? That's why I believe that asking the correct questions, not only to yourself but to other people as well, not only makes you more like relatable, but also gives you the opportunity to learn about yourself.
yeah, I completely agree with that. And on top of that, I want to add this to just to get a bit more practical.
Hmm.
Okay, you really don't want to essentially what you want to do is not to make like $1 million. What you want to do is to acquire the skill of
Yes.
how to make $1 million,
Yes.
because in the long run this is way 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 more valuable anyway. So, and that's why long-term thinking wins, like 100% of the time. It absolutely wins, and this applies to everything. And the other thing is that you can always trick your mind and yourself that even if you don't have the $1 million, you still get like a bit better every day.
Hmm.
And this like process orientation gives you a lot of focus to continue with, and it gives you uh, the mentality of ignoring external circumstances that may hinder your growth, and you just in a way tunnel vision until you feel satisfied enough with your level of progress.
Yeah. The whole being better than who today, be like 1% better than what you were yesterday is like a
Yeah.
great mindset as well.
Mm.
Because and it's not like that hard to make it happen. Like if you just keep going, the correct road and learning from your mistake, no matter what, you will be bit better than what you were the last day. So definitely that's a big one, as you said as well. And people tend to neglect that, tend to forget about it. Like, no, they're so concentrated on the result. Like, I need to get the beautiful girl, I need to get into a meaningful relationship, I need to make the $1 million, I need to show to everyone how cool I am. But they never stop to think, realize, appreciate, and then try to contribute, to collaborate and communicate to other people, like that. You know what? I'm also growing as a person, like a human being. I'm learning things. I'm not like a guru. I'm just someone who's trying to become better. I'm someone who's hustling, someone who's like, has the correct work ethic. And basically, that's something I'd like to get to see your opinion. How would you define like the correct like work ethic? How should someone hustle? Like go 100% in and forget about all the rest? Like maybe plan strategically and then execute? Maybe execute blindly without even think about it? So what's
Mm.
your opinion on that?
Okay, I think it comes down to two things. The first thing is your values, and the second thing um, is your let's say, I guess, the opportunities. Okay, and not the opportunities. Sorry, the priorities that you may have. Okay, so, and the intention that you have as an end goal. Okay, so for example, if you want to get fit quickly, like as fast as possible, then you have to work out more. Okay, you cannot work out once a week if you want to get fit within like 3 months. There's not enough
So,
time.
number one,
Okay.
having something realistic, right?
Yeah, you need to match your end goal with your work rate, essentially. Okay. Now, but more important is that you have to match your ambitions with your values. These really need to match. Your ambitions should not be other people's agendas. It should be your own agenda. We talked about it before. Like, for example, in a world where everyone tells you that you have to make a certain amount of money, like I don't know how much is it, but you really don't give a fuck about having more money. You're equally satisfied and fulfilled by having just enough to be able to operate within our society, and then you want the rest of your time to do something completely else, different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And by the way, the expectations that society puts on us are sometimes way too over the top. Okay. For
Yeah.
example, if you want to talk about it arithmetically and statistically, if you make, for example, uh, I think it's something like, okay, in New York, okay, in fucking New York, right? It's one of the richest cities in the world. Okay, it's a mega city. In New York, if you make more, if you live in New York and you make more than 400K a year, you are in the top 1%.
Shit.
Okay, so imagine how in New York, right? Like if you make, I don't know, like 50K a year in comparison to the entire world, then I'd guess that you are still in the top 5% or something like that. Like if your uh, like your mentality is to belong at the top 5% or something like that, then you don't need to do much. Like you have to be realistic, and you can always look it up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and another thing that comes with it is like the well discussed concept of the work-life balance, which is something that, first of all, you should define it and no one else should define it for you. And that's why we are blessed to live in this age of being able to self-employ, which is like key. And the second is that uh, besides having the ability to self-employ and define your own work-life balance, your work-life balance should always map your ambition. As I told you before, like if you want a freakishly huge amount of money, then you simply can't work 8 hours a day. It's simply not enough,
Yeah.
because the person that works 8.5 hours a day, it's going to win you. Simple as that. Because it's a competition. It's always a competition. Like the, it's rarely a win-win situation in the grand scheme of things, because money circulates and it does not replicate out of nothing. You have to create value for it, and if someone gives you their money, then they're losing value on their part. So
And you also need to like pay the price, right? Like there is a price of,
yeah,
hustling and trying and sacrificing what you have and what you want. Because otherwise, people are like, yeah, I can do all these things, I need from my life. I can achieve this, I can achieve the other thing, I can have more money, I can have better relationships. But in the end, they just don't, number one, take action. Then number two, they don't like understand that at some point you need to sacrifice your time, you need to sacrifice, the people, your friends, your family. Because otherwise, if it was easy, as they say, everyone would do it. And you need to pay the price. You need to pay your dues. You need to hustle. You need to try. You need to fail. You need to get up and try again. And for me, this is exactly what you learn. It's not like that you're going to have the skills, as we said in the beginning, that by building a business or by doing something on self-development, you will like learn the skills to replicate it. It's mostly the thing that basically you're going to have to deal with yourself. It's not you against your boss on the business. It's not you against the girl in flirting. It's not you against your friends, okay, in a friendship situation. It's always you versus yourself. You are your best friend, but you're also your worst enemy. And in order for you, to learn that and to appreciate that, you need to sacrifice things. No one will like build $1 million brand and business without sacrificing his time, without like when the other people are partying, when the other people are drunk on the streets, you have to like put in the effort, you have to put in the work, you have to learn the skills. So it's sick that people don't they don't do it, man. They prefer the easy way. Oh, maybe okay, I will do this and whatever happens. No,
You
man.
know, the Andesi way. Do you know where it's based? And this is one of the reasons, for example, why the American society is extremely powerful in economic terms. It's because you are allowed to fail so many times because like the government and the state has your back. Okay. And for example, this is what happens this is what happens in extreme cases. For example, when you have like a socialist state or a communist state, and the other end of the spectrum is when you have a completely capitalistic state. Oh, hello Instagram.
Yeah, I'm alive. I'm been alive, man.
Yeah, yeah. And what happens is that you have so many social benefits where you end up like feeling more comfortable not doing anything because you still have so much comfort. Okay, your comfort zone is so expanded. Whereas when you go into a capitalistic society like the American society, where like there is no social healthcare, no public benefits, uh, the educational system is very bad for them, like the public educational system and stuff like that. This is where the quote comes in, where we say like the necessity is the mother of innovation. Like
Mhm.
you get in a position of such need that there is no second option, essentially. And this is how you have to think about things when you want to improve. Is like you have to proactively put yourself in a position that there is no other option. It's like,
Create
and
leverage.
yeah, essentially you need leverage, but at the same time you need to be able to negotiate with yourself. Like so many people I've seen, and I'm a victim of it too also, because it's like very very hard to manage. We are at the same time, like you said, our best friend and our own worst enemy. And how does this happen? The analogy is that you are you are the boss, but at the same time you are an employee of the voice inside, of the boss inside you, that punishes you all the time. Okay. And like if you have a goal that you are not going to achieve, or you're not achieving at the moment because of your laziness and your apathy, then like there is this very strict boss, like this evil boss, and like it talks down on you. um, and this essentially hurts your self-esteem very much. And what you need to do is to learn to negotiate with your between your inner voices. Okay. And how you want to do that, practically speaking, is that, like, for example, for every small victory that you get, you need to celebrate it, because then celebration comes from your boss, essentially, because it's like a rewarding system that works inside you. And this means that then you are more likely to repeat the process over and over and over and over again. Um, Whereas if you just, it's the same as working a job that doesn't pay well and going the extra mile and not get recognized for it, not get paid more, not get the credits for your work and stuff like that. You essentially get tired. You eventually get tired of it because like there is no recognition.
Sure, yeah.
And as humans, we crave recognition more than anything. Like after we got that shit handled about food and about having a house and having clothes and having clean water and stuff like that, then what we want to have next is recognition. Like we need to feel like we are an entity. There is a character that like creates a certain polarity between people, and we get recognized for what we do and for what we are.
Yeah, but
And if
on
there
the
is
other,
not that, it's like it all goes to hell. And this is like 99% of people, because they don't get recognized for what they do, and they lack the internal communication skills to be able
manifest.
to reward themselves and to build self-esteem and to look back at everything that they've achieved over and over and over and again, to feel like they have a certain type of value that is a core value. Is that like it's very deeply ingrained within them.
Yeah, the whole validation thing, and it's true that unfortunately, as human beings, we are validation whores. Okay, we want validation. Okay, it makes sense. It makes us feel good, feel beautiful. Feel like we are doing something and we are getting the appreciation. But
Yeah.
on the other side, as we were discussing the other time as well, there is this thing, this duality between having the external motivation, which is validation, okay,
Mm.
and getting appreciated by other people, and the internal motivation, which is like finding the motivation from within yourself. And funny thing is that, I kind of smile when you mention this, because I had exactly this thought on my mind today, because
Mm.
I had a great day at work, and I was like, you know what, man, maybe you should go and like celebrate and basically like buy yourself a present. So I went there, I bought like a couple of clothes for me, and it's
Mm.
not like that I had like something crazy that I done, but just the fact that, I kind of gave a gift to myself for all the things that I did, for all the things that I did, for all the people that, help with and stuff like that, made
Mm.
me feel like so alive. So that's something that I think that people that listen or watching this content right now, they should start doing. Like, fuck yeah, you done something well. You have to, give yourself a chance to be happy and buy yourself a present. And it doesn't need to be like a super expensive thing. I like, you can buy like a t-shirt, like you can
Oh
buy
yeah.
like a fucking hat, whatever,
It's
like
so
buy a
simple to
jeans.
reward yourself. Like for example, I like to eat sushi,
Yeah.
so I just go and eat sushi. It's
Yeah.
like,
Or
yeah,
do something
it's
for
like,
yourself.
yeah. It's like very, very simple to do that because you know your triggers the best. I hope so, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you ever read Awaken the Giant Within?
Of course, bro. It's
Because
right over there.
okay, because in there, he mentions like, and by the way, I'm talking about Tony Robbins. He mentions a very specific system about finding motivation to do things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember it, but like he talks about like 3 levels of consciousness. Okay, it's like the higher, the mid, and the low, and depending on your like emotional state at the moment, you can always tap into one of the three to find some kind of motivation to do the things that you want to do. So, for example, let's say that um, the goal is like to build a business, okay, and like you can draw motivation and inspiration from three different pillars. Like the higher consciousness pillar would be like, I want to build a business because that's how I can express my skills, and I can bring value to the world. Create I can create jobs for other people that are in need. I can provide for my family, and I don't know, stuff like that. And this is like the higher consciousness. Like the mid consciousness would be something like, I want to build a business because I believe that I need to make like 2 million euros per year, and I want to I don't know, buy a freaking airplane to take my family on vacation. Okay, and like the lower consciousness would be something like, uh, I don't know. My heart was broken when I was like 20 by my girlfriend, and my previous business partner dumped me, and he started his own business. So I want to get back at him and show him that I'm the best, and watch him like uh, become so envious of my success. So it's like three levels, and however you feel, because like you cannot always tap into your higher consciousness. It requires a lot of like positive energy, and sometimes it's impossible to do that. Like
Yeah.
there are some days where you just feel low, like for whatever reason, or something happened and like you feel like you cannot continue. But you can always go back to these like three types of uh, consciousness to justify your actions. It's like, I think it's like a very good thing.
Hmm. And a last thing I want to add on this, and
Mm.
then maybe we should
Wrap it
and
up.
wrap it up. Yeah, is like it's okay to not feel alright. It's okay that from time to times you will feel like shit, you will be sad, you will be emotional, and instead of like being all the time, fuck no, life is hard, life is unfair, do, just accept it. I mean, we should cherish those moments because they're part of who we are. They're like part of our reality, part of like our state of mind and headspace. Without the hurdles, without the difficulties, we wouldn't be who we are. And instead of pretending, that was a question I had from someone from Instagram as well, was like, you know what, I had like some really difficult day, job was shit, my boyfriend, we were like mad with each other, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And the Instagram follower told me that, look, I'm not feeling right. What do you think I should do? And I'm like, first of all, you shouldn't try to pretend like you're happy. You shouldn't try to pretend to bring in the whole positive energy. Because if you don't feel positivity, if you don't feel happy for any reason, you shouldn't like pretend and like force yourself into trying being happy. No, I have to be happy. I need to be positive. I need to smile all the time. Fuck that. No, you shouldn't do that. You should just relax and appreciate the fact that from time to time these things will happen. We always have this, it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah, of
Sometimes
course.
we're happy, sometimes we're not happy. What it matters is that we need to learn that these things are part of our life. These things are supposed to happen. These things are part of who we are, and we should just try to positive interpret them and then go on. But never, ever, ever, in my opinion, you should never pretend to bring in like the positivity if you don't feel like it. You feel sad, embrace it. You feel in love, embrace it. You feel happy, embrace it. Whatever your emotional state is, you need to fucking embrace it and not pretend to be something else, because that's what social media world and era wants you to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. And this is like the video we talked about last time about who was it? Like Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Like he has he's making a point about social media, and like, oh, look at me, like I'm putting a selfie on and my life is great even though I'm depressed. And this is like the entire environment of social media does that to you, and if you consume it without being conscious of it, then you will spend your entire life thinking that people are happier than you. You will inevitably try to compare your situation with their situation, and you will lose. And you will always lose, because what you are seeing as information is fake on social media. I don't mean that people are fake on social media. They just choose to put their best parts of their lives on social media by default, because why would you want to post a photo of you crying?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. It's like, it's very stupid. Um, so yeah, and you will always lose, because it's like you versus the world on social media. It's always you versus the world. You really have to be able to make that distinction. And there is another thing I want to add, and I think we'll close about. This is like some of my something that I learned from studying like Machiavellianism and neo-Machiavellianism, which is essentially the philosophy of power control, but it mainly applies to control over your own self, and if you take it on a personal level, of course. And what it says is that you should use your ego as a tool. Okay, you should not give power to your ego, because it's impulsive and it's very reaction based. You always, if you obey your ego, then you are an impulsive guy, and or girl, I guess, and the results will be devastating to you, because there is no concise way to operate if you follow your ego. However, if you decide to detach yourself from your ego, not even in the spiritual way, but in a way that, like you said, you recognize your feelings without trying to ignore them. Like, because if you feel positive, if you say be positive when you are like depressed, then this is a mismatch. You're not listening to your own feelings, and this is very egotistical. You have to learn what you said, like to be able to recognize your own feelings, uh, then try to observe them, detach yourself from them, then make your decision, and then you can use your ego as a tool, like in the way that we described previously with the three consciousness levels. So yeah, it's like a
Okay.
universal principle. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Before we close, give like a message, like something you would like to end this
I want
podcast with.
to follow up like on my Instagram's post yesterday. If you guys can go on my Instagram at Stratis Karad, I think that it will be. Is it on the description?
I'm
Did you?
writing it here as well.
Okay. Then the latest post, it will be a question for you. And if you also read the caption, there are more details. And I think I still like feel like an extrovert these days. So I want to get to know you and see what you're about. So yeah.
Awesome, Pi. So let me put this here so we can close. Uh, that was Conversations That Matter, episode 3. Okay. It's, as we say with Stratis, it's like the baby between a motivational speaker and the everyday philosopher, modern philosopher, not stoic philosopher. And basically, yeah, guys, if you have any questions for us for next time, you can go on the YouTube channel. We're doing this for now, at least, which is Motivation Addict. You can find the link on my bio. If not, you can shoot me DM or Stratis at Stratis Karad as well. A DM and let us know what you think. We always appreciate the feedback, and it's something that really help us to become better and learn, and get to know you as well. And in order to close, I would love to say just that it doesn't matter how hard your life is. It doesn't matter how much you feel pain. The most important thing is you to appreciate the fact that you have a life, to pay gratitude for all the things that you already have in your life, and realize that from time to time you need to pay the dues and you need to sacrifice things for your success, because otherwise you're not going to make it happen. People see only the tip of the iceberg. They never get to see the whole, mass of ice which is like beneath the sea. And that's bad, because you will never understand how much people that are successful had to sacrifice in order to be where they are today. So that's my wish for you. My wish for you is, guys, start feeling the pain, start getting rejected, start feeling the failure, start sacrificing things for your success, but don't fucking give up. Try one more time, get back up, and conquer your fucking day. Boom.
Peace.